Hello and welcome to this new video for me. Today we will take a look at Regulation Age and I will rank every single Pokemon, or like at least every single fully evolved and every single relevant not fully evolved Pokemon today. I also opened a showdown tab if we have to take a look at someone. I just opened a Boma Snow just because why not? It's the first Pokemon here, but it's not sorted alphabetically, it's sorted after generation, so after Pokedex number. But I would say we could start immediately because it's going to take a little while. I hope you will enjoy this little list. This is obviously subjective. You don't have to agree with my list, but at least that's my take into Regulation Age. And you can see how I tiered all these tiers. I think that's good. First up, we've got Venusaur, and Venusaur is interesting because it's a good Sun Pokemon. You can use it in Sun teams like on Torkoal or Ninetales teams, but obviously Sun gets worse with regulation because we lose all the photosynthesis Pokemon like Fluttermane or Raging Bolt. I would still say that Venusaur is not terrible. It's also not great though. Sleep Powder is good, the 80 speed base is pretty decent, but it can only work in Sun, so I would put it, and we have better Chlorophyll Pokemon, so I would put it in C. Next up we've got Charizard, and Charizard is also a Pokemon that works pretty well in Sun, but I think Charizard is also not great. Is it better than Venusaur? Probably, because Venusaur is a bit outclassed. I will put it in B-. Next up we've got Blastoise, and Blastoise has Rain Dish, and then you can do fun stuff with Water Spout, Shell Smash Water Spout, but I think it's also too niche, so I will put it in C. Next up we've got Arbok. I think Arbok is pretty bad. I think Pikachu is also pretty bad. Raichu, the cool part about electric types in general is that we lost all ground types we had. We didn't have many ground types, but we lost Great Tusk, Landorus I, Landorus T, Groudon, Tinglu, like all the good ground type Pokemon. They don't exist anymore. So I think Raichu, especially with 110 speed, fast fake out, I would say it's not bad. So I would put it in B. Alolan Raichu is definitely worse, I guess, because the psychic typing doesn't really achieve anything and it does not have Lightning Rod. So I will put it in C. Sandslash is an interesting Sand Sweeper. It's probably outclassed by Excadrill, but I can also see it. Nah, I cannot see it work. I wanted to talk it good, but next up we've got Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash has Slush Rush, so maybe it's a good Pokemon in Snow, but it also has to rely on Triple Axle, which is only, what was it, 72.9% accurate or something. So I'm not a big Sandslash believer. Clefairy is pretty good, I would say. It has its ups in Regulation G, and Friend Guard is just really good. Redirection with Follow Me, Helping Hand support. Fairy types in general are pretty decent in the current meta, so I would put Clefairy in A-. Clefable, on the other hand, didn't see any usage in the latest regulations, but Unaware is pretty cool right now because Clefable walls Sword Dance Kingambit, and it can also carry an item. Clefairy has to hold the Eviolite, while Clefairy can actually hold an item like Safety Goggles, Citrus Berry, Rocky Helmet. You could also run a Life Orb Magic Guard set if you want, because Fairy is pretty decent offensively in the current meta. So I think Clefairy is actually slightly better than Clefairy. Then we've got Ninetales, and Ninetales is a Sunsetter, which is, it is the faster Sunsetter out of the two. The other one is Torkoal, and I think Ninetales can do pretty well. It has Fake Tears, it has Hypnosis, but other than that, it's not great, so I will put it in B. Alolan Ninetales. In general, weather is pretty interesting because once we get to Pelipper, Pelipper is everywhere right now, so you can remove weather, but they can also remove your weather and make Aurora Veil useless. But I think Alolan Ninetales has its ups, but it's not super good. Wigglytuff has competitive as an ability. It also won a regional once. I can see it, but it's probably B-. Vileplume is interesting. You can use an offensive Vileplume with Chlorophyll, but this is probably getting outclassed by Venusaur. And you can use a defensive set with Effect, Spore, Leech Seed, Strength Sap, but I think it's just getting outclassed, honestly. Next up, we've got Venomoth, and Venomoth is probably also not good. Dugtrio is... Arena Trap is not bad, to be fair. And it's one of the few ground types, so I would give it a shot, honestly. Alolan Dugtrio is probably worse because it doesn't have Arena Trap, and it's also slower than the Kanto Dugtrio, so I will put it in outclassed. Golduck. Golduck is a Swift Swim Sweeper, and it also has some funny tools like Simple Beam. You can use Simple Beam on your Dondozo, then switch into Tatsugiri, and then your Dondozo gets to +4 in every stat. But it's something for closed team sheet, not really good in open team sheet, and I think it's also getting outclassed. Primeape. Eviolite Primeape is cool. It's also... I think it's faster than Annihilate, right? Because Primeape has 95 speed base. Yeah, and Annihilate only has 90. Yeah, exactly. But you are forced to hold an Eviolite, so I am not the biggest believer. Arcanine, though, is pretty good. Obviously, we have Incineroar, we have Hisuian and Arcanine, but I think Arcanine can have a huge impact on the meta because it's so fast. It has a fast Will-O-Wisp. Intimidate is good. Like, Incineroar is too slow, I think. So I will put Arcanine in B. Arcanine Hisui is a bit better because Rock typing is really good right now, and offensively at least. Defensively, obviously, it has some issues, but overall, I think that Annihilate deserves a spot. Not Annihilate, Arcanine Hisui deserves a spot in A-. Next up, we've got Poliwrath, another Swift Sim Pokemon. You couldn't use Belly Drum, you can use Hypnosis, but overall, I think it's not great. Victreebel, I think in every aspect it gets outclassed by Venusaur. Tentacruel, I don't think Tentacruel is good. I would also put it in useless behind Golduck. Golem is pretty interesting because it has Sturdy. It's one of the few ground types once again. It can boom, like, I think Golem has a place, but not very high on the list. Golem Alola is a bit better because you have Galvanized Explosion. Like, there's this one strat with Webscar, Golem Alola, where you go for Explosion Trick Room or Explosion Revival Blessing, and then you revive Golem and then you explode again. It depends if you go for Trick Room first or revive a Blessing, but it's pretty funny. It's not great, but it's definitely alright. Slowbro as a bulky water type with Oblivious, with Regenerator, it is pretty cool. But it's too passive, I think. But I would still put it in B-. Slowbro Galar has Quick Draw. You can combine it with Quick Claw, and then you have, I think it was a 44% chance to move first. it's a poison type, so it can suck up T-Spikes from stuff like Glimora. It's pretty bulky, so I think it's not bad. So I will put it in B-, top of B-. Magneton gets outclassed. Dodrio, is Dodrio like usable? I don't think so. Dugong, it's time for Dugong Oddish again, am I right, guys? It has Perish Song, it has Fake Out, it has Anchor, Icy Wind, so I can see it, so I will put it in C, not in useless. Mug is always a thing because of Power of Alchemy. For now I will move my face cam to top right. I think that's fine. For now. Like Mug always has a place with Smeargle, like you go for Fake Out, Minimize, and then you gain Moody by KOing your Smeargle or letting it get KO'd. So I think it's cheesy because it doesn't work outside of it, but I think it's tough to rank, right? Because it only works on one comp, and this one comp is not super consistent. That's why I will put it in C. Actually, Makalola, I think Mak is getting outclassed in every way. Makalola is in C. Next up, we've got Cloyster. Cloyster is Overcoat and Skill Link, but I think it's pretty useless in Regulation H. Gengar. I think Gengar's A+, because 110 speed is so fast in the current meta, and it has Haste for Dondozo. Adamant Dondozo cannot outspeed Gengar. You have a grounded Poison type. Poison Ghost is very good offensively if you don't run into Tyranitar or Kingambit, but you can also pair it with a fighting type, like there's with one team where it's paired with Taurus Water. So I think Gengar is really, really good. It also has Icy Wind, so you can use it as a speed control option. Focus Sash is the preferred item, and it just hits the fairy types for super effective damage. It is a special attacker, so it helps into stuff like Achalodon. You could also run Focus Blast if you want to hit the dark types I just mentioned yourself. So I think Gengar is decent. Hypno is probably not good. Electrode. Does Electrode get Electro Web? It gets Electro Web. It also has like screens. It has Foul Play, Explosion, Helping Hand. So it's the fastest Pokemon in the meta, and it has Electro Web. It's kind of like Regieleki, just worse. But I think you can make a point. Electrode Hisui is probably better because it can also hit ground types for good damage, and it also has a move to hit electric types with like Leaf Storm. Is it B+? B+ sounds really good, but the Pokemon are not that great, so I think Electrode Hisui is for sure usable. Executor on Sun teams with Harvest or Chlorophyll is probably also usable. I will put it next to Charizard. Executor Alola. Grass Dragon is not great, but I can also see it. Hitmonlee, Unburden with Fake Out perhaps. It's a fighting type. Fighting types are pretty rare in the meta, and they are actually pretty good because the best Pokemon like Achaludon, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Maushold, all the Pokemon have a fighting weakness, so I will put it in B-. Hitmonchan is definitely worse, so I will put it in C. Wheezing. Shutting down abilities was always cool, but I think in the current regulation, there are not a lot of Pokemon that rely on their abilities. Obviously, their abilities are not bad, like Stamina, Friend Guard from Maushold and Clefairy, Defiant from Kingambit, like you can pair it with an Intimidate user which holds Viability Shield, so you can intimidate the fire Pokemon and they don't get the boost. But I think Weezing and Weezing Galar had better times, but I would not rule them out. I cannot say which one is better for now, because Fairy type doesn't offer a lot defensively. Like, obviously it helps against stuff like King Gambit, but not Iron Head King Gambit, but against Sword Dance King Gambit. But Weezing is faster and has Will-O-Wisp anyway, so I will put him on the same level for now. Next up we've got Rhydon. I think Rhydon, it's a ground type again. I think it's Sandslash level. I think Rhyperior is just better. Chansey is not good. Sorry, Store guys. Seeking with Lightning Rod is pretty interesting, but also not good. Cypher is getting... Actually, Cypher with 105 speed base and dual wing beats sounds promising, so I will put it in C. Electabuzz. I think Electabuzz is great, honestly. I will put it in A, because Vital Spirit Follow Me just shuts down Smeargle, Amoonguss, also Lilligant Hisui, you know, and electric types, as I said, there are not a lot of ground types, and its bulk is pretty good. It's pretty fast, so it can support the team with Helping Hand, Electro Web, Feint, all that stuff. So I think Electabuzz is really good. Magma, on the other hand, there are a lot of water types running around, like Tauros Water, Basculegion, Pelipper. So Magma has a harder time. Flame Body itself is cool, but I would put it in B. Top of B though. Taurus is getting outclassed. Taurus Fighting is getting outclassed. Taurus Fire is better than Arcanine, I would say, because it's slightly faster and it has a good fighting step. And fighting types, as I said, are rare, so I will put it in A. And Taurus Water is probably A minus. And Taurus Water is probably slightly better, because water types are just very, very good right now, because there are a lot of fire types running around and you actually resist opposing water types like Basculegion. You cannot switch Taurus into Basculegion, and you have an Intimidate Pokemon against Dondozo which doesn't immediately die. Taurus Fire is pretty cool with Mirror Herb, Will-O-Wisp, but that would mean that you need Taurus on the field when Tatsugiri Dozo are on the field, you know. You cannot switch it in, and that's why I prefer Taurus Water a little more. I would say it's even better than Clefable. Gyarados, I think is also good. Water type with Intimidate. I would put it in A minus. Dragon Dance is a cool set with Terrifying Terror Blast, but you can also use a support set with Bulldoze, with Thunder Wave, with Taunt, Helping Hand. It has a lot of tools, so that's why I put it in A minus. Lapras, it has Water Absorb, so it's probably not completely terrible, probably like Slowball level. Ditto, I think Ditto is not great, because the whole meta is not that setup oriented, and all the setup Pokemon have very good supporters. So I think Ditto doesn't have a good time in Regulation H, unfortunately, but you can use it. Vaporeon is probably worse when Lapras is just getting outclassed. Jolteon is probably also just getting outclassed by Electrode, so I will also put it in the outclassed tier. Flareon, I don't think that Flareon is any good. Snorlax, on the other hand, like, you can, because of a lack of fighting types, you can use Belly Drum Snorlax in Trick Room to win games, so I will put it in B+. It's probably slightly better than Electrode. And Dragonite is A, but where exactly? You can use Terranorm's Choice Band, which is good against a lot of stuff, because there are also not a lot of normal resists running around. It just Hurts a little bit that you lost Champow as a partner, but it was also a menace in Regulation A, right? And Assault Vest is also an option with multi-scale, with Inner Focus, Ice Spinner against Psychic Terrain, against Grassy Terrain. Flying Dragon is a pretty good typing. You can also use Terra Flying, Terra Blast, so I would put it into this slot. Actually, Electabuzz is maybe a bit too high. Persian is pretty useless. Meganium is also useless and outclassed. Sorry, Meganium. Typhlosion is also outclassed because we have the big brother Typhlosion Hisui. What makes Typhlosion Hisui better than Typhlosion is just the fake out immunity because of a ghost type. I already see we are in 20 minutes and the list is long, so I should speed up a little bit. But yeah, Typhlosion Hisui I think is pretty cool with Specs Eruption. We've seen it win multiple tournaments already, so but I don't think it's great. It's abusable. It's also walled by Garganacl, funnily enough, but I would still put it in A. Next up we have Feraligatr. Feraligatr sounds useless. Ferret has Follow Me support, and if you have Follow Me, you are not bad. We've seen Pachirisu win Worlds, so Ferret can also win a regional in Reg H, right? So I will put it right here. Noctowl, I don't know what Noctowl is supposed to do. Ariados has like Spider Web, String Shot, but that's that. It has Sniper with Focus Energy, but it's too slow, so it's probably not going to be good. Lantern, Water Absorb, Electric Absorb, but it just does not have any tools to support the team, so I will put it in useless as well. Ampharos, Static, and that's that. Only electric type coverage. Too slow to do anything. Yeah. Blossom. I don't have to say anything. Azu, I think, is pretty good. It's an offensive water type. Once again, it's a fairy type. It has pretty good attack step because of huge power. A strong priority in Aqua Jet, but I would say it's worse than Gyarados, so I think this is a good spot. Sudowoodo. Sorry, bro. I love you, Sudowoodo, but nah. Politoed. It's always a question, is Pelipper better or Politoed? Pelipper has the Flying Step to hit grass types. Politoed has Perish Song and Haze on the other hand, so I think Politoed is a bit outclassed by Pelipper, but I can see people use it. Jumpluff on Sun teams with Tyrant, Sleep Powder, Anchor, all that stuff is probably also not terrible. Sunflower, I think Sunflower deserves its spot. It's not useless, okay? Quagsire on the other hand is pretty useless. Espeon, it's an expanding force user with 110 speed, so you should not rule it out by any means. So I will put it in B-. Umbreon, I think Umbreon was better in Regulation G by far. I will put it in C. Murkrow is probably a good Tyrant user, but not the best Tyrant user. Because we have like Talonflame, we have Whimsicott. Obviously Murkrow has Haze and Foul Play, or Quash, or Taunt and stuff like that. But I'm not the biggest Murkrow fan. Slowking is a bit better than Slowbro. Where did I put Slowbro? Over here. So I would put it around here. Slowking Galar has a pretty cool ability in Curious Medicine. Also a pretty cool signature move in Eerie Spell. It removes the last move used by your opponent by 3 with a PP. It removes. So it's, but it's not good. I think the other slow brothers are better. Misdreavus is, I don't know what Misdreavus is looking on the list. Fortress has Overcoat and Iron Defense Body Press, so it has a reason to exist. Caesar, strong Bullet Punch, but a lot of Pokemon resist Bullet Punch in the current meta. There are a lot of Water types, a lot of Fire types. So I think it also had a better time in Regulation A and B, but I would still put it in B-. Heracross is pretty interesting, but it's like a single build Pokemon. It doesn't really offer a lot for VGC. You can use Flame Orb Guts, and it's a fighting type again, so I will put it below Politoed. Ursaring is probably useless. Magcargo, Shell Smash, Heatwave, I guess. Fire types are never useless, so I will put it in C. Skarmory, I think Skarmory is just getting outclassed by other Iron Defense Body Press Pokemon. Houndoom has Houndoom hardwalls Armor Rouge if it doesn't run Meteor Beam. Like Expanding Force Armor Cannon, it just hardwalls. It also, Flash Fire in general is not bad, so I think it's usable. Kingdra is a good Rain Sweeper. It's fast, it hits hard. Water Dragon is a great typing, so it's B for me. Domfan, ground types, guys, ground types. I will put it next to Golem. P2, because of the lack of fighting types, it's probably like A+, or is it just A? Actually, I would put it below Taurus. I think I would put it like this, because P2 has Download as an ability, it has Trace, it has two very good abilities. Analytic is also pretty good, and it's a bulky Trick Room user, which is really, really good in the current meta. Standler has Intimidate, is a normal type. It's probably getting outclassed by Porygon 2, but it also has stuff like Trick Room. It has Skill Swap, so you can cycle Intimidate by just staying in. If you use Skill Swap on your partner Pokemon. You can use Bulldoze to trigger weakness policies, so it's probably not terrible. Smeargle, I hate Smeargle, but it's not bad. I hate to admit it, but it's definitely not bad, because it can just spore everything. You can do almost everything with Smeargle, and that's what makes it so scary. Hitmontop has Intimidate, Fake Out, Coaching, so I would put it next to Weezings. Blissey, I think, is pretty useless. I would put it next to Chansey. Tyranitar, I think Tyranitar, I love Tyranitar. I used Tyranitar in my very first tournament in Bochum, where I made it into top 8, so I have a special connection to Tyranitar, and it just, Weather was never that good, like it is now. You will face Weather in every game you play. It feels like it's either Sunny Day, Whimsicott, or Pelipper, or Tyranitar, and I think Tyranitar is just great because the bulk it has is insane, and Rock Dark is a very good typing, so I will put it in A, right below Dragonite. I think Tyranitar is really good. Quillfish sounds bad. Granbull sounds bad. Actually, Intimidate. Sceptile. Actually, Quillfish also has Intimidate, and it also has Swift Swim, but it's outclassed by Overquill. Blaziken has Coaching, okay? And it's a fighting type, so it cannot be that bad. Sceptile has Shattail and is super fast, so I would say it's also not super terrible. Swampert. Ground type, guys. Ground type alert. I will put it in B-. Intimidate Maidina. Nah, I think Maidina is honestly just getting outclassed. Ludicolo. I think Ludicolo is not a bad Swift Swim Pokemon. You can also use it with Rain Dish. So I will put it in B. Shiftry, Wind Rider Pokemon. Grass Dark is not terrible, but also not great. I will put it below Slowking. Pelipper. Okay, Pelipper is meta defining. Is it like S tier? I think the stats are too bad. Like, it opens up a whole core, but Pelipper itself is not the Pokemon why it, like, it's just because of the ability why it's so good, right? And because of all the partners it has. If it had no partners like Bascule Legion, Archaludon, or just shutting off the fire weakness from Goldango, King Gambit, Amoonguss, you know, then it would not be that good. And I think it's a bit overhyped, honestly. But I think it deserves a spot in A. Actually, I will move all these up. I think they stand above Electabuzz by far, so that's why I moved them up just now. Gardevoir also has Expanding Force. It has Trace, it has Telepathy. I think Gardevoir is actually pretty good as a fairy type. I think it's way too underused. Masquerain, Intimidate, I guess, but that's it. Breloom, Fighting type. Spore, the fastest Spore probably we have. If you like, obviously Toadskull with Weezing on the field, I know. Or like Sleep Powder Vivillon almost is a Spore, but I think Breloom, it has a strong fighting type priority, so I would put it next to Blaziken. Slaking with Weezing, I guess it has a place, but nah. Nah. Honestly, nah. Hariyama, fighting type. Okay, I will stop. But it also like provides Trick Room support. You can go for Fake Out Trick Room when your Flameo gets activated and when you have a Guts boosted Hariyama. And it's also pretty bulky. It's very fat, so I think it deserves a spot in B+, I think. Nosepass. What is Nosepass doing on this list? Sableye has Prankster, Screen, Squash, Taunt, Anchor, Disable, Fake Out, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, all that stuff. So it's like a mini Smeargle, but actually I think it's B tier. Medicham has, I think people use Medicham in Regulation A with like Assault Vest, Fake Out, Feint, Close Combat, Bullet Punch. And I can see it coming back, but not now. Like, the meta will stay the same for 4 months, but I think Medicham will have its shine time, its prime time, later the regulation. But I think it's not bad. Plusle and Minun are both really whack. Volbeat and Illumise. Volbeat is getting outclassed for sure. Illumise has fake tiers. Like, Volbeat has Tailglow, but you don't have the time to go for Tailglow Baton Pass. So where did I put Illumise now? I lost track of it. That's unfortunate. I cannot find Illumise. Like, Illumise has fake tiers, okay? And so that's already why it's better. But you can also just use Whimsicott, and bug types are not the best defensively. I just want to see where I put Illumise. Yeah, I cannot find it. I'm blind. Wherever it is, it's probably good there. Where did I... Okay, wait a second. I have to find it. It cannot be that hard, right? Huh? I never put it in B. I would also never put it. I would put it in C. So if it is in C, it's correct. Oh, I found it. Yeah. Swallowed. I don't think Swallowed does anything good. Camerupt. Solid Rock. Eruption, but I think it's also getting outclassed by all the other eruption users, but it's a ground type again, for good measures. Torkoal is really good on Trick Room teams. It's not better than Pelipper, it's not better than Typhlosion, but I will put it A-. You will have to prep against Torkoal for sure. Cacturn is useless. Altaria with Cloud 9 is probably decent. Altaria also day 2'd Worlds, by the way. So I think Altaria deserves a spot behind Ludicolo. Zangoose has strong facades, but that's it. So I think it's getting outclassed. Viper is getting outclassed. Whiscash, I don't have to say anything, right? Crawdaunt has adaptability. It's kind of like Azumarill, I guess, just as a dark type, which is not bad against Psyspam, for example. So I think Crawdaunt can be B tier. It's better than these water types right here. Milotic, I think competitive is cool, and you can do stuff like Coil Hypnosis, Icy Wind support. So I think Milotic deserves a spot in B+. And I think Electrode is actually just getting out. Like, why would you use Electrode if you can use Electrode Hisui? Let's be honest. Banette, I don't know what Banette should do. Like, it has strong poltergeists, but that's it. Dusclops is Dusclops, I will put it in. It's really good. It's very bulky. It's like Porygon 2, but with a worse form of recovery. Like Pain Split, it's nice, but recovers just more consistent. But Dusclops also has Will-O-Wisp. It has Haze. So I think Dusclops deserves a spot in B+. Tropius, it has White Guard, I guess, but it's not great. Chimeco, useless. Sorry. Glady, Inner Focus is a good ability, but what are you supposed to do? Let's put it in useless as well. Love Disc is the definition of useless. Salamence, you know what I hate about Salamence? Tell me which moves it gets. Like, all the moves it gets are like really, really whack. Flying moves, it gets like Hurricane, Air Slash, Aerial Ace. Not a big fan. Dragon type moves, Draco Meteor, I guess. But I think Salamence itself is not bad, but the moves are just terrible. The moves it gets. Actually, let's move Magma up a little and Salamence as well. Metagross, I think it's kinda, it's weird. Some people say it's bad, some people say it's good. It has a strong bullet punch, it cannot get intimidated, so I will put it in B+. Grumpig, useless. Flygon, Levitate. You can do some fun stuff. I think, does it get Tailwind? It gets Tailwind. So the problem is there are not many ground types, so Levitate is kind of cap. Itself is a ground type. Ground Dragon is not terrible, but I would not put it higher than B-. Torterra, there was like this one time, I think it was Regulation F, where people used Amnesia, Iron Defense, Rest, Body Press, Torterra, because it has Shell Armor, cannot get crit, but I think it's kind of a meme, so I will put it in C. Also, I just made the decision, I will split this in 2 parts. For today, we will talk about the Generation 4 Pokemon and then make a break. And in the next video, I will talk about the Pokemon from Generation 5 up to Generation 9. Infernape, It has Fake Out, it's pretty fast. Fighting Fire is pretty good offensively. I will put it in B, next to Arcanine. Empoleon, Defiant, not Defiant, Competitive now. I think it's getting outclassed by Milotic as a bulky water type, so I will put it in B-. A lot of water types in B-. Actually, it's not better than Slowking. It's also not better than Quad. Actually, I should put it down here. Staraptor, Final Gambit, Intimidate, strong Brave Birds, so I will put it in B. Cricketune, sorry little man, you are a bit useless. Luxray has Intimidate, but that's everything that's going for it, so I will put it up here. Rampardos is actually, if you just look at the raw attack stat, I think Rampardos has the highest attack stat in Regulation H. Wait, we can look it up. Yeah, Rampardos is actually the strongest Pokemon. It has a spread move and Rock Slide, so it deserves a spot in C, but like getting it positioned well. Okay, actually let's put it B-, bottom B-. Bastiodon has White Guard and it has Iron Defense, Body Press, Soundproof as an ability. I think it's okay, but not great. Vespiquen, I'm not a believer in Vespiquen, I'm sorry. Pachirisu, follow me, World Absorb, banger. We all love Pachirisu. Pachirisu also made Day 2, almost made World's Day 2, so let's put it in B-. Floatzel is a very strong Rain Sweeper, but I think Pokemon like Palafin are just better, so I would put it, I just grabbed Luminion. Luminion is useless. I wanted to grab you. Gastrodon, since there are a lot of water types running around, I think Gastrodon is actually pretty good. I will put it in B+. It sometimes, actually A- sounds fair. Ambipom, it has a strong Fake Out, and that's that. You can do funny beat up stuff, but I think it's not better than like Dugong. Drifblim with like Grassy Seed Tailwind deserves a spot. It has Will-O-Wisp, but it's also not the best Pokemon. Miss Mages, does Miss Mages have anything? I don't think so. I actually Levitate, Ghost type, C sounds reasonable. Honchcrow is just worse than Murkrow, but I can also see people use Honchcrow honestly, so I will put it in C as well. Skuntank, I don't know. Bronzong is a bulky Trick Room setup which also carries Iron Defense, Body Press. It also has Gravity, Safeguard, so a lot of cool stuff that Bronzong can do, so I will put it in B. Spiritomb, I think it's not super terrible, but also not super good. Garchomp, I think Garchomp is a bit overrated. It's a good partner for Tyranitar, but not putting Garchomp in A sounds like cap, because it's one of the few ground types we have. I mean, now we talked about a lot of ground types, but trust me, most of them are just not really good. I mean, look, if we make a borderline like B+ is good, we only have 2 ground types so far with Garchomp and Gastrodon, and Gastrodon is not the offensive ground type you wish to have, honestly. Riolu has Prankster Coach. I think Riolu is pretty fun to use, but it's not super good. Lucario has Inner Focus, Final Gambit. I will put it in B. Hippowdon, I guess if people can play worlds with it, and it's a ground type, it's not terrible. Toxicroak, I mean Rain-Dish Toxicroak, now that Pelipper is running around everywhere and is a fighting type, I think people are sleeping on it. Honestly, people are sleeping on it. I will do it like this. Boma Snow is just worth 98, but I think it also deserves a spot in C. Weavile is probably like B-. It's very fast, and it also has Fake Out and Beat Up, so I will put it up here. Magnezone, I think, is also like B tier, at least. People are just not trying to use it well. Electivire and Magmortar are just worse than their pre-evolutions, I feel like. Viperia is a good Trick Room attacker. I think I will put it above Rampardos, above Swampert. It's like Hitmonlee level. Yanmega. I guess it's also usable. It has like Hypnosis with Speed Boost, so it's very annoying. Leafeon is just getting outclassed by all the Grass-type Chlorophyll Pokemon. Glaceon in Snow it hits pretty hard, and Snow Cloak is very annoying. Gliscor. I mean, Poison here is not terrible, so I will put it bottom B-. Mamoswine with Oblivious. I think Mamoswine is also kinda a sleeper pick, so I will put it in B+. Because ground ice coverage is just super, super strong. And I'm a big fan. Porygon Z. It hits very hard, so it can fit into some Terran teams. So I will put it in B next to these two. Gallade. Super strong fighting type attacker. I think it definitely deserves a spot in B+. Works on Trick Room. You can also try to not use it in Trick Room. I think I will put it... Actually, I put it A-. I think it's really good. Probopass sounds like Cap, honestly, but probably not super terrible. Dusknoir is just outclassed by Dusclops. I would never use Dusknoir. Frostless has like Frost Breath with like Angel Point. You can trigger it, so I can see it. Okay, now Rotom forms to close it out. Regular Rotom, bad. Rotom Fan, bad. Rotom Frost is usable in Snow, I would say. So I will put Rotom Frost in B-. Rotom Heat, Rotom Wash, and Rotom Cut. Rotom Mow, not Rotom Cut. Rotom Mow, I meant. Rotom Heat, Electric Fire is pretty cool. And it hits a lot of stuff we have currently high ranked. Super good. Like it also has Will-O-Wisp, right? So do the other Rotoms, but I think Rotom Heat is not better than Arcanine. Also not better than Staraptor, but it's over here. Rotom Wash has to rely on Hydro Pump, but Water Electric is so great offensively. It is only resisted by Grass types. And as you can see, currently we have no Grass types on our list. So I think Rotom Wash is slightly better than Rotom Heat, but worse than Kingdra. And Rotom Mow, Grass Electric is also good offensively, cannot hit Grass types. But I think Rotom Mow is not better than Rotom Heat, not better than Ludicolo, but better than Ditto. That looks about right. Okay. So that's the list for now. I will put my face cam on the bottom right. Boom. So we don't have to go over the useless Pokemon. I think C tier is also pretty irrelevant. So is B-, so is B. So the interesting Pokemon are just in B+ and higher. And is Gengar actually the best Pokemon? I think I would change it. Like, I think Gengar is not the best Pokemon on the list so far. it's really tough to rank them. Like, they are all on the same level for me. They do completely different things. But I think for now this looks reasonable. It might be that I change some stuff in the next video, so you can look forward to that one. But I hope you enjoyed the first part of this tier list. Let me know if you agree with the stuff. Probably not, but that's why I'm really looking forward to read the comments, because exchanging your thoughts is always pretty nice. And if you have a different opinion, that's obviously totally fine. I don't mind that at all. Just be open to our other opinions as well. So if you read an opinion in the comments that you actually disagree with, maybe try to explain why you disagree with, and don't just insult the others. But yeah, that's that. This video will be uploaded on Friday. So the second part will come out on Sunday, where we will rank the remaining 100 Pokemon. I don't know how many there are, but as I said, I hope you're looking forward to it, and I will see you next time.